Oh my God. I was going to wait until we reach this point in my reading. We're up to treachery. We did treachery. So, but because of my cat situation and stuff, I really tried to wait. I really did try to wait. But I needed my comfort book. And since it was, I could have read the book after treachery, which, uh, uh, no, Celebrity. Oh, that's going to be a good one. Because we did New York to Dallas. So Celebrity is the next one. Oh, that's good. Those are fun ones. And we will do those. We will do those in a couple of days. We will do Celebrity in Death, Delusion in Death, Calculated in Death, and so on. I was going to wait, but it came in the mail. And I did the unboxing, if you saw the unboxing. And I waited. I really tried to wait. And then I tried to savor it by just reading a little bit each night while doing the other books during the day. And because I really tried to savor it, but it was so good. I just went. So, Payback in Death. And please hit the like and subscribe, thumbs up. I need the support. I just read books. I have no theme song, no special effects, no drop-ins. I was going to experiment this week with a drop-in and 6 Ways to Sunday out the door. So it's just me talking books, reading books, and I like series. I like to binge series. We're binging J.D. Robb right now. We're binging Laura K. Hamilton. We're binging Carolyn Sparks. We're binging Lindsay Sands. And I've got a Kelly Armstrong that's calling my name. We're going to get there. Don't forget Flashback Mondays. And don't forget Star Trek Fridays. We're doing The Best of Both Worlds Part 2, Season 4, Episode 1. Oh, and I'm Christina, Kristina, and this is the D. Louise book series where we talk about series books in a series. Every once in a while I'll do a standalone because they catch my attention, but most of the time we're doing series books. And we're doing Payback in Death. And this has a fancy schmancy cover. The last couple have had fancy schmancy covers, but we haven't gotten to that point in the rereads yet. So you haven't seen those yet, but there are fancy covers coming. But there are fancy covers coming. Hello. Hello. Are you coming here? Can you catch the killer? Lieutenant Eve Dallas and Detective Peabody are called to the scene of a heinous crime. Mrs. Taylor of apartment 3B has been strangled to death in her bedroom. Time of death is 7:57. It's been raining all day, and Dallas notices a line of wet footprints leading from the fire escape through the unlocked window and into the room. The murder weapon. Hello. 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 A new co-host. So you have to solve the murder. This is awesome. This is really cool. You should check it out. And I should preface this with spoiler alert. Oh, this is so good. We're gonna go back and I'll go back and do Celebrity and all those come up here. And I'll probably come back to this one at some point. Because now we gotta wait till February. But this book starts off with not a honeymoon, anniversary trip. And again, we stop by Ireland and see the fam. And Eve's got, well, at the end of the last book, but we haven't gotten to the last book in this redo here. We're still at Celebrities in Death and stuff like that. But for those of you who have read the whole series, and are up to Payback. In the last book, as an anniversary present to Eve, he gave Eve's entire bullpen magic coats. So Eve couldn't figure out how to equal that in generosity. So she thought of a picture for Roarke created by Yancey of the entire clan, and even photoshopped Roarke, Somerset, and Galahad into the picture. So the whole clan's in this picture. Are you adorable or what? Oh, you still can't see her. What? Did I startle you? Come here. So it starts off with some cozy feelings. Come here. Come here. Fine. Don't appear on camera. She doesn't like to appear on camera. She's cracking me up. So, so they start off with the cozy feelings and the cozy, really nice family moment in the beginning. It's really good. And then Eve gets back home, and she's not home too long before she gets a tag from Webster. And there's some Webster news in this book too. I'll try not to spoil that. But a friend of his has been murdered, and Webster calls her in to examine the scene and stuff and be primary on the case. And while Eve knows who done it instantly, she has to prove it, and it takes her a while. But there were some really cute scenes in here. So, like, I should have started this off with, for those, well, I usually for the other ones, but because it's, I was so excited by this. Eve is a lieutenant in the New York City Police and Security Department. Her partner is Peabody. Her husband is Roarke. Mavis is her best friend. Leonardo is Mavis's husband. Bella is their daughter. Nadine is a reporter and also a writer. Whitney is her boss. Feeney is captain of EDT, the electronic division. Peabody's live-in partner, McNabb, also works in EDD in the electronic division department. And Webster is in IAB, internal affairs. They investigate bad cops. And D'Angelo is Roarke's chief of police up on Olympus, on the planet that he's developing. And a lot of the background doesn't pertain really to this, because usually we go into a spiel about Eve's childhood and stuff, but a lot of that we did cover in New York to Death, and we will mention it again in Celebrity and stuff like that, just briefly. But we really don't need that for this book. We don't need that spiel. My social spiel for Eve, that she was raised in the foster system, and a lot of that stuff we did cover in New York to Dallas. And like I said, we were going on to Celebrity. And you're sitting on my notes. Come here. There's a couple of references here, and it was interesting that she made the references and then did not explain them. So I think that's kind of good in a way, because you have to be a long-time reader to understand the references in the book. We haven't gotten to that particular book yet in the reread, but there will be, after Celebrity and a couple of other ones, there will become a point where there's a book where Roarke finds the girls locked behind a wall, and in that book we learn more about Mavis's past, and a fellow from her past is referenced in this book, just very, very briefly. And it's not explained, which, if you're a longtime reader, it doesn't have to be explained because you know who the person is. There's a couple of times where it's there's all the additions are referenced but not explained, and that's kind of good because sometimes it gets kind of old. Uh, her referencing like Mavis being on the grift and all that stuff gets kind of old. I mean, it's been repeated so many times that it really gets old. So it was interesting that they brought it up this time, but it wasn't to the extent that they usually bring it up. So that's kind of good with that. So, but there's a couple of cute little scenes. Because Eve is oh, this was cute. Before Roarke, Eve just put clothes on and went. She had no care what she looked like or how she dressed because she was a cop, and all that mattered was the badge. But she's getting used to wearing better clothes as Roarke continually fills her closet with clothes. So Roarke pointed a warning finger at the cat who finished the salmon and hoped for a bacon chaser. Galahad sat and furiously began to wash. Then there's the note, Roarke said. And you had that right. It's the wrong tone, and she'd have known. He couldn't have hidden it from her. If he'd been planning to terminate. And now I trust Whitney's judgment, and he says Greenleaf had too much pride in the work he did to end it with a scar like this. She drank some coffee. Why does a man who about to kill himself have the game on screen? Maybe you could say maybe for comfort than normality, but I don't buy it. And then they go through some off. So then she heads into her closet. She gets up, walked into the closet, and realized all at once she had to actually think about clothes for the first time in weeks, and to think about it inside a deep, thick forest of clothes. Shit, I'm out of practice. Midsummer from behind her. Quick as a cat, Roarke laid his hand on her shoulders. Go for the cool and light here. I'll steer you through until you get back into the swing of it. He took down pants nearly the same shade of pearly gray as the suit. A splash of pink in the top would set this off. But I know you better. Damn right. So white it is. And the linen jacket with the thin line of gray leather at the top, at the lapels and cuffs. You want dark gray boots and belt to pick that up. Okay. She took the jacket, noted it had already had the magic lining in it. Is this new? Possibly. Now she glanced at the label. Leonardo? And Mavis's husband, Leonardo, is a famous fashion designer. Again, thanks to his talent, but also thanks to his connection with Mavis and to Eve. But mostly for his talent, because he's extremely talented and extremely well known. And his dresses can go for like $5,000 a pop. So then, like I mentioned before, that Eve is slowly with the social situation, and we will go back to this in Celebrity and Death. We will talk of this and more. But if you've gotten this far in the series, you know everything. But she goes, then again, look who she ended up with in the friendship pool. Mavis, former grifter, now singing sensation, mother of one in the oven. The aforementioned Louise, Dr. Rich Girl Free Clinic founder, married to a former LC, now sex therapist. Nadine, of course, crime reporter with her own screen show, author, Oscar winner. Peabody, free ager, smart-ass, solid cop with it. Made sense to form friendships with a partner, as she had with Feeney. McNabb had snuck his way into the pool, not just because he clearly loved her partner. Maybe she didn't understand his e-speak even half the time and never understood his wardrobe, but he stood up, never bitched about extra work she often tossed his way to EDD. Claire Rio, but that made sense too. Under the southern drawl and soft looks lived an ass-kicking APA. Ed Mira, although she'd never anticipating having a close personal relationship with the shrink, especially the top shrink in NYCP&S then Mr. Mira is so much sharper than those dreamy green eyes indicated, and he could make her go soft inside. Morris, but that made sense too. You didn't have to be friends with associates, and sometimes it complicated things, but she had what she had. Smokey, come here. Come here. What are you doing? Come here. Come on. Come on. Come on. Be a good girl. I think she's jealous. I've had another. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. I've had another co-host all these past weeks, and I think she's jealous. I think she wants to get into the co-hosting. Do you want to get into the co-hosting? Oh, nope. The seizuring cat is out cold. This is his third day of meds, and he was really awake and active for about 5 hours. Now he's exhausted. He's out cold. So then Eve has a little trouble with a former cop. We won't spoil that much. Sebastian, the former guy from the former book that I mentioned, like I said, if you've read the books, you know who Sebastian is. He's in from Mavis's past. And Eve doesn't like to shop, and this was just it. I just enjoyed the heck out of this book. I did. I don't see that as a coincidence, as Greenleaf has a lot of clothes. It's a neighborhood shop, high-end, but they have sales, and some people, it escapes me, just like to look around at stuff in shops. They call looking around at stuff in shops browsing. Peabody considered. You browse around so you can see the stuff, then decide what to buy or what not to buy. If you decide what you want to buy before you go in, you can just buy it and save time. If you're not going to buy anything, you can just stay home. Sometimes you don't know what you want to buy until you see it. Hence, browsing provides the opportunity to see what's available and if you want it for your own. So if you didn't see it in the first place, you wouldn't want it. And if you didn't want it before you saw it, it doesn't follow you didn't need it. Peabody narrowed her eyes. Those are snare Peabody in a trap questions. I take the fifth and move on. You gotta love Peabody. You gotta love it. It's just so awesome. You're on my notes again. Can I have this piece of paper? She loves paper. Absolutely loves paper. She likes to put a toy or something underneath the paper to hide it from herself, and then she challenges herself to get it out from underneath the paper. What she does. But so yeah, there's some spoilers on Webster, but considering what I do, I had to throw this in because as you know, I do the Star Trek updates, recaps on Friday. So yes, you are cute. Yes, I love you. Yes. This conversation is between Roarke and Eve, and it fits. It fits my Star Trek stuff. Why haven't you come up with something that just poofs us from here to there? Poofs? You know, like we're here. We want to be there. We push a button or something and we're there. Intrigued, Roarke shifted towards her. Just us, or the entire car along with us. You can't just leave a vehicle in the middle of the street. Come on. What was I thinking? So we humans imitate flesh, blood, water, bone, chemical organs, transport through time and space from one location to another, along with the vehicle inanimate, which consists of entirely different materials. um, uh, what was I thinking? So I did the ring. Yeah, that. He tapped a finger on her shoulder. Lieutenant, you never pushed the button. Since she wasn't going anywhere, she gave him a look. Why wouldn't I? I could be home right now at my command center. In your car? No, you poofed the car into the garage. I see. Bloody clever of me. You still wouldn't push the button. She sneered at traffic. Right now I would. You wouldn't, darling Eve, because you'd start thinking of whatever ifs. What if along this strange poofing journey your organs, bones, what have you, mixed with mine? You could end up with 3 arms or my rib cage. Or your man part. I certainly miss it, or this malfunctions they do happen, cause your molecule to merge with your car. Now you've got tires for legs, perhaps a steering wheel for an ass, or a program missed your feet. Now you're sitting at the command center footless and your feet are stuck on 6th Avenue. Now I'm gonna have nightmares. You did ask. Yeah, I asked. They do it on those vids you like, those space vids. They're always poofing from the starship to the planet, whatever. And the whatever up there almost always has breathable air and temps that don't fry your eyes in your socket, which makes sense. Still, they poof. Beam, he corrected. Not poof, beam. It's why it's called science fiction, darling. But since you're interested, I'll look into it. Really? He smiled at her. The concept is something science has toyed with for generations, but those what-ifs are profound. She spotted a gap in the snarl and snipped into it, through it. I've got one. What if you're poofing and someone else is poofing in the same direction at the same time and you collide? She clapped her hands together. Now you're stuck together with a complete stranger. I wouldn't push the button, she decided, but that doesn't mean traffic's not a bitch from hell. Yes, it's given us time to have this fascinating conversation. Always an upside. She glanced at him. What would you push the button? I rarely find myself in that much of a hurry, and find myself fond of my molecules just as and where they are. Since the human body made of a blood, bone, and all that, how come when they poof beam their clothes which aren't poof with them, why aren't they naked when they get there? It's a mystery, Roarke concluded. But now the next time we watch one of those Star Trek overs, I'm going to imagine them all naked. Oh, and um, the crack me up, because we know how uncomfortable Eve is in all speaking situations. She goes to interview a college professor who does the crime stuff, and she asked Eve to be a guest lecturer. Can you imagine the fear Eve would feel? She hates public speaking. But anyways, that's Payback and Death with spoilers, with the juicy cover spoilers. And we will go back and do Celebrity and Death, and we will have fun with Eve and the Oscars. And my pal here. How's it going there, Miss Smokey? How's it going? So, please hit the thumbs up, like, and subscribe. I just read books and talk about books. And spoilers! Let's get back to Celebrity and Death. Let's do some Eve Dallas binging, shall we? Have a good one.